Okay. Khaled, I'm going to start with you. You recently sold your company, SySDSoft, to Intel in the midst of a revolution. He's based in Cairo. And I'm sure there are a number of entrepreneurs in the room that would love to hear your experience of taking your baby and reaching that point. So walk us through.
It's a long story. First, I appreciate being here, actually. It's a pleasure. There are a lot of people I like to see that I just met, and there will be definitely more that I would like to interact with. I appreciate Endeavor. I was selected as the first Endeavor entrepreneur in Egypt, even before the Egyptian Endeavor office opened up in 2007. And it was a turning point for us at that time. So our story started very simply in 2002 with a small incubated 4-engineer startup inside Cairo University. And grew to a 125-engineer operation in the course of 8 years, where we managed actually to become one of the leaders of building the software that runs wireless communication systems and some of even the chipsets that do that. By wireless, I mean Wi-Fi, WiMAX, LTE, all kinds of different flavors of wireless technologies. And if anybody would have asked me when we started, was that my dream, I would be lying if I say yes, because there was no clarity when we started that will be what we achieve. It was actually impossible for me to dream that big in 2002 that we will create this small entity inside Cairo University, and then it becomes one day one of the leaders in its own high-tech globally. But it did happen, and I owe it to the Egyptian engineers, some of them excellent, young. 95% of our engineers we took fresh out of college, just without any experience except for what they learned at college, and they managed to sit and compete with worldwide, people who were 10, 15 years of more experience than they had. So that speaks for this team, and they freed me to do the business development because I relied on them on the technicalities, and they did very well. And in 2007, when we were selected to the Endeavor an entrepreneurial company, people ask me, how much did Endeavor help you? And I say, the most valuable part was the selection part. We had, interviews with people from Cisco, IBM, and the like. We had an international selection panel of real good people from venture capital, from industry, and all of those interviews were great eye-openers to me. At that point, we decided to switch from just a local design service-oriented company to a company that has ambitions, that company that can really go out and build products, build intellectual property, and compete. So that turning point is a matter of confidence that we gained, I personally gained, through the interview process with very valuable people who came from the Endeavor network. Then came the challenge of, like every entrepreneur, he wants to see his company at one point in time reach some level of maturity. And as an entrepreneur, maturity in my case meant an exit towards a bigger company, a company that can take us really into products, not just IP, but real products. And we had several companies talk to us, and it wound up being Intel, one of the most known, and the one that gave us the hardest time, by the way, during the due diligence. But it was an interesting process. We learned from it a lot, and we managed at the end to sell the company. Interesting enough, the price was the shortest discussion we had. Took 5 minutes, and the whole process took 3 months. So you can imagine that there are a lot of other things besides the price that come into an acquisition like that, legalities and technicalities and so on. But it was a good process, and we hope that this is an eye-opener for a lot of companies, technology-oriented companies in the Middle East, to seek exits like that. I think it's become possible now. And our conditions were not the best because we've also had the revolution in Egypt. So we were looking at an exit while the Egyptian people were looking for Mubarak to exit. Happily enough, both exits did happen and take place.
Now, Khaled,
I'm glad.
You just also helped us reach an exciting milestone. You became the second Endeavor entrepreneur following Andy Freire of OfficeNet in Argentina to become chairman of an Endeavor affiliate. You are now chairman of Endeavor Egypt. So everyone, after the Arab Spring, their eyes are on this region. Actually, today my husband came out with a book called Generation Freedom about the Arab Spring. Everyone's looking to see what's going to happen. Tell us, in your opinion, what role entrepreneurship and venture capital are likely to play? What are the conditions likely to be like short and medium term?
Well, I'm very honored to be on the board and chairing Endeavor Egypt. And one of the problems of the previous regime, and it's very common in the developing world and in the Middle East in particular, is an extreme focus on the capital, on where the regime is. And it applies also to entrepreneurs, to business, and so on. So you find out every entrepreneur will come out of Cairo, every business is in Cairo, everything is in Cairo. While in Egypt, we have like 60-some million people living outside Cairo and don't belong to that elite group who lives in the center of the country. And my dream is to go out of Cairo, and particularly to Upper Egypt, to the Delta region and so on. There are good people everywhere in the world, and you just have to go out and talk to them and find them and encourage them, not just feel happy to pick up 5-6 companies every year from Cairo. I'd like to see Endeavor Egypt, select hundreds of companies a year out of areas that are as remote as it gets, even countryside, even villages. There is an entrepreneur everywhere, and I believe in that.